Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 298. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It is Sunday, April 24th.
Yes.
Um,
There's only 6 days left in this month. Must knit faster.
yeah, you're right. Um,
I know I'm right because I just looked it up to make sure that I wouldn't mess up
right.
when this is due. Would you like to go first, or would you like myself to go
Why don't
first?
you
I
go
can't
ahead
even
and go?
talk.
This is going to bode real well for this episode.
It's gonna be amazing, like always. So I am knitting right now on my second sock. Look, this is the second one.
Oh, it looks like your first one did last
This is
week.
the first one. Ha. Yeah, that's in the same place as the first one was last week almost. So I'm knitting on a pair of Desert Vista Dyeworks socks in her Color Accents series. This is the yellow colorway. And I am doing a different pair of socks using her yarn every month, and I'm trying to switch out the heels. So like doing different heels. So I found this pattern. It is a free pattern. It is called the Queen's Toe Up Sock Pattern, and it has a gusset that you knit on the bottom, and then you pick up stitches and knit up.
Hmm.
Isn't that interesting?
Have you tried it on yet?
Yes, it fits wonderfully.
Hmm.
So I'm super excited. I might knit this more often, but I do have to. You have to pick up stitches, which means that this would be awesome for double points.
Oh, I
But
can sort of see it now if I like lay my head sideways.
see how it's going that way,
Yeah, it looks like it's from the
and then it
cuff.
goes that way.
Yeah.
It's magic. Um, so
So
it's
it
kind
looks
of fun.
exactly like a traditional top down, except it's done toe up.
Yeah,
Huh.
isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go that way.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's not. It's that way.
That's kind
Oh
of
my
cool.
goodness, it's so cool. So, and I like the fit on them. I even tried them on and everything. So I just basically used the heel from that, although the numbers worked with my 64-inch sock anyways.
64 stitch stock.
Yes. Yes, that is, yeah, that would be huge. Could live in that sock. It would be like a sleeping bag sock.
Like a
Uh,
cocoon for grown-ups.
oh, that would be amazing. So, I'm trying to think what else I have to say about that. This is her Visto base, which is sparkly, and I enjoy sparkle as well. Oh, I was knitting these as Penn's Rally socks for the Penguins, and they totally won. Also, they won the series.
Oh,
Also, my brother, within an hour of us recording, texted me telling me Leslie's laughing because I already told her this.
yeah.
So, within an hour of the episode posting, he texts me and he's like, by the way, the 76ers and whatever their hockey team is, the Flyers, play in the same stadium. And I was like, are you in my house watching me? Like, what is going on? And he was watching The
Wait, well,
Voice.
he overheard it. Yeah,
He was
well,
watching The
Em was
Voice, and my
watching.
sister-in-law Em was watching us,
Yeah.
so he overheard it.
It's weird how when you put things out in the world, somehow, sometimes they find their way back to you quickly.
It's so weird, and it's hilarious though because it totally took me aback, and then I realized that Leslie had gotten the episode up really, really quickly because it was like an hour from when we recorded.
Yeah, it was pretty quickly.
So it freaked me out in a good way. It totally freaked me out. And the Flyers are not in the playoffs anymore. They got knocked off by Washington today.
I thought you just said they won the series.
No, the Pens won their series. The
Oh,
Flyers, who are
okay.
in Philly near you,
It's
lost.
Pittsburgh that's the Pens.
Yes, they're the
Okay.
Penguins.
Okay.
hmm Um, so that's the first pair of socks I'm working on. I knit a couple of rows as I was fighting with the NBC Sports website on my Nomadic Yarns Trusty sock in Bloom colorway. So this is the second sock. They don't have heels yet. There's the afterthought heel waist yarn. Um, so what I'm going to do is finish this ribbing. I have one more color, the green. And then I'm going to put these away until Stash Dash, I think.
It's a good
I
plan.
should just finish them because I need socks because I've lost 5 pairs of socks in my luggage. But I also lost my Van Gogh socks, my opal Van Gogh socks.
Aw. I think I still have that other skein of it if you want it.
Colorway.
It's that same one I got. I think I got the same one as you. I'll go and dig and look.
You should, because I want that again. But you should have it too.
I don't.
Like if you want those
I
socks.
bought it because you liked it, and I was like, I should like this.
Laura is insane. I should be
No,
insane
Laura likes
too.
good things. I should like this. I will
I
purchase it and hoard it and keep it like a dragon.
well, I was flipping my stash, like, you do your spring cleaning thing.
Hmm.
And I'm washing all my hand knits too, and I found so many skeins of opal. Because there was a time that my local yarn shop carried opal, and I hoarded it like a dragon. Although I have none of the Harry Potter colorways. So, ooh, I hope those, I had one. I hope those socks weren't in there either. Crap. Anyway, so that's in my Fat Squirrel fibers bag. And then I knit literally a row. But I did try them on my Hermione's everyday socks. So they are an inch from the start of the toe. And I need to get at least one done because I have a test knit that I'm doing for someone and I need double points.
Hmm.
So these have to get done this week. And these have to get done this week.
Put so
It's
much
a lot
pressure
of
on
it's
yourself.
a lot of sock knitting. But I can do it. I mean, it's only like 2.5 inches here. And 6 more repeats on the yellow. So once I hit this, like this has 7 of the yellow. One,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually 8 because there's a little bit there. But I'm saying 7 because that makes me feel better. So I started these yesterday, and if I get a repeat done a day, I'll be golden.
I love the lies that you tell yourself to
I
convince.
will be golden. If I get a repeat done a day, I'll be golden. Stop raining on my parade, Leslie Thompson.
I O'Neill.
Yes. I almost added that to the end, and then I decided not to. Sorry, Michael. You're not going to watch this anyways.
No, he won't.
Matter. That is all that I am working on. It's very little things, but it seemed like a lot of talking on my end.
Well, I'm working on a couple of things. One of them is quilting.
Ooh.
So I don't have it here to show. Well, I mean, I have it right over there on my cutting table, but it's too like
Oh,
giant and awkward.
it's not your hand stitch quilt. It's another quilt.
No, I have worked some on the Constellation quilt, but not enough that you guys would be able to tell the difference really. So I didn't bother to bring that down. But no, my friend Lynn, who is Linzem on Ravelry, she works at the Loopy U. She
She's
has been doing a lot of quilting lately, like really quick quilting too. And one of the things that she did was this Bargello, I think it's Bargello quilt, which and it was made out of 2 jelly rolls, and it looked pretty easy to do. It's just a little bit time consuming, but essentially you take 2 jelly rolls and you
Explain what jelly rolls are because that sounds like something I would eat, and I don't think that's what you're talking about.
I wish I had one here to show you. Oh, you know what? I do. Hang on one second. There's one right over here. Okay.
Okay.
Stick this back in my ear so I can hear what you're saying.
I didn't say any. That was super dead time while you were gone. I was almost going to tell a story about my children doing research, but then I didn't.
So a jelly roll this is what it looks like. It's fabric, and it's essentially
It's little cuts, right?
it's 2.5-inch strips by the width of the fabric, which is usually 45 inches. So there's 40 strips in
So they're
here.
cutting them this way versus that way.
It's
Like
the-
when you buy fabric by the yard, you go like that and it gets cut down here. But it's going this way.
Yes.
Like vertical lines versus a horizontal
Right.
line.
It's the width of the fabric. So
Okay.
from one selvage edge to the other selvage edge is usually
Your description is much better than mine, but I had to get out.
in quilting fabric, it's usually 44 or 45 inches. And so when you unroll this, and this one's wrapped, so I'm not going to because it's a bear to keep it together. When you unroll it, it's just a stack of strips folded in half. And so this Bargello quilt, you take them in order and you just sew everything end to end.
Are you washing them first?
No, ooh, you don't pre-wash. You don't wash pre-cuts.
Okay.
It's a bad idea.
But I know you have to wash other things.
Yardage. You want to wash yardage.
Okay.
And, maybe hardcore quilters will wash pre-cuts, but because they've already been cut, they already have little strings and little bits on the ends. Yeah, and it'll fray like crazy. And usually you're going to quilt with a 1/4 inch edge, and so you'll lose that 1/4 inch in the fraying. You don't want to do that.
Oh my goodness. Okay. That was a very strong reaction.
Sorry. Well, I mean, like, you would pull it out of the washing machine and it would be nothing but a tangle of ends, and it would be a disaster.
Parto sounds like
yeah.
thinks that would be an amazing idea.
So, I'll use the magic of technology and put a picture in here of what the Bargello quilt looks like. And it's made using 2 jelly rolls end to end, and then you basically it's a tube at that point, and you make tiny I say tiny cuts, they're like varying sizes. You'll cut like a strip of 1 1/4 inch, and then a strip of a 1/2 inch, and then a strip of 2 inch. There's different sizes, and then you realign everything and sew it back together, and it becomes this cool like wave effect.
Sure.
And it's pretty low effort for what you get. I decided to do 3 instead of 2 because I wanted like a big one, because crazy. And
a big one, like a queen size or
yes,
a king
like
size
a queen
or California
size.
king.
So I finished all the sewing of the jelly roll strips together this morning, but I wasn't going to try to start cutting before we record it today, because it'll be a process to do that.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
Aside from that, I do have a little bit of knitting. Let me show you. Slip this to the next stitch. Okay, so I did knit a little bit on my Even Flow, which is a Joji Locatelli sweater pattern.
That's the red one that you're doing, right?
Yes, this one is
As you hold up something red. So
this is out of Mustache Sweater Girl yarn in the Queen of Hearts colorway. I'm alternating skeins every 2 rows. I've got one more set of 1 more 18 row repeat to go until I can start the bottom part. So that's like 6 episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes.
Somewhere in there.
Which season are you on now?
I'm at the very end of season 5, so the people that are left are Jinx Monsoon, Alaska, and Roxy whatever.
Yeah.
So,
I think All Stars was filmed after that season.
I don't know.
Maybe the season before. Maybe it was just the first 4 seasons.
But I've been watching that a little bit too much, actually, because the other day I had a nightmare. It was the apocalypse, and I was stuck in Walmart with RuPaul.
That sounds amazing.
And Michael was nowhere to be seen, and the challenge was to find chapstick, and I couldn't. And it was very distressing, and I had to pay my way by slaughtering animals. I don't know how I got there, but somehow that's how I got there.
I can always tell when I've been watching too much RuPaul Race, because I start saying RuPaulisms.
Yeah.
Like, oh, mama.
Yeah. Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah.
So I've done that, and then I finished something this week. I actually didn't start it until last night. I wanted something quick to knit, so I pulled out this yarn that I got at Vogue Knitting Live this year. It's Shirsty Cat.
Yeah.
And this is in the Amped colorway. It's a bulky yarn. It's just sort of a crazy variegated with colors that I like. This is what's left. I knit.
But you finished it.
Yeah. I knit a pattern by this girl I know.
No way.
So
how about Leslie texted our group text that we have with 2 friends a picture of that, and I was like, that's really pretty yarn, and Jess was like, that's your pattern. Stupid girl.
So this is
she can call me stupid because she's Jess and she would never do that, but
this is the Starving Musician, which is a hat that Laura designed.
Oh, many years ago.
Yes, actually the picture on the pattern page is at my old house in Mississippi. And
is it?
Yep.
Oh man.
Yep, in front of the lake. Um,
We use that backdrop a lot.
yeah. So it's a, a very simple pattern. It's a free Ravelry download, and
Yes.
it's just knit and purl stitches with decreases. That's all it is. It's very simple,
Twisted.
and
Twisted?
yeah,
Yeah.
you can wear it inside or out depending
Mm-hmm.
on your mood. There's also a beret, like a slouchy version of this called the Starving Artist.
Yes, that actually came first.
Yes, and I just wanted something really quick and simple and happy.
Looks
So
good. It's a good
thank you.
way of breaking up the pooling on that.
Yeah.
Good,
It's funny because
good
I'm
pattern
looking at it on
choice.
my monitor, and the pixels are like, I can't decide what's happening.
What are you
I
doing?
have confused my pixels.
Aw, there's
Um,
nothing worse than some confused pixels.
so that's all that I've finished this week. I've done some spinning, but you've done some spinning too. So why don't you talk?
I have. So I have been spinning lots of things. So the very first thing that I finished, I'll move some stuff around because I've got lots of stuff on this thing today, is I finished the Bank the Fire BFL. It's still a little bit damp, even though, so it's super warm in Mississippi. My air keeps kicking on because it was like 85 degrees outside today,
Mm.
and my air is set at 80 because that's how I roll. And so I actually washed this last night and put it to dry before I went to bed, and it's still a little bit damp. But this is the Bank the Fire BFL. It's from Hello Yarn.
And this was for our Patreon
And
giveaway,
this
right?
is, yeah, this is for a Patreon giveaway. It is a two ply. It was spun on the Sidekick and the Ladybug after the Sidekick died. Um, but the Sidekick shall be resurrected. Um, what else do I have to say about this? Two ply, 400 yards. Really like 404, but with shrinkage, I'm going to say 400 yards. And lots of browns and a little bit of pinks and some reds. And I hope whoever gets it likes it. I can't remember her name right now, but she's got a super wicked cool address.
Oh yeah, it's
And
like zero whatever street.
yes, it's like Zero Nocturne Alley, like it's something like, or Upside Down Street or something like that. I can't remember what. Um, and then the other thing that I finished is I had, these are actually two separate skeins. I had started working again on the patchwork kits from Hello Yarn. So I finished, this is one. I think this was the one that was on, yeah, this was on the Saxony bobbin, the Shock Saxony bobbin, Chef Reeves. Everything's Saxony now with the Lundrums coming. And so this is around 2 ounces, 100 and some yards of a Navajo or chain ply. So it keeps that color intact. It also shows off every single error that you have in grist. And then on the Ladybug, I had spun like another ounce.
Hmm.
So this
Are
one's
you're Navajo plying each little bit and bob?
yes. Yep.
Okay.
And then I'm just actually I was just twisting them together so I could see what they look like together. So I was making a skein this way. So they're there together. I think they'll work out fine. No idea about yarn composite, like fiber composition, because it's just bits and bobs.
Yeah.
But it's around 4 ounces with this little bit and bob too. So all the fiber. So that's the finished items. Items still on the wheel. I am on the shock dreams right now. I'm spinning an Into the World bat. I have one left. So I'm spinning that up, a long draw. It's making my thumb hurt from pinching. Because I spin a supported long draw, which where you pinch with this and pull back and then let the twist
Yeah.
run up and then boop. Um, so I had to stop for a little bit because my thumb was getting a little bit, you need to stop this. So that's what's currently on the shock reeves, and it's on the tester bobbin from Acreworks. But I finally got done the wool pierogi Rolex, which were shamefully on their way too long because they were a joy to spin.
Gosh, that bobbin is so small. Or
I
like
know.
it's like squat, I guess.
Yeah. So what these were, they're called the number two, and they look like pencils. So
Mm-hmm.
it goes from a pink eraser, do you see the pink?
I do.
To gray,
For the
to the
metal cap.
yellow,
Mm-hmm.
and then white, and then black again. So, and this will be Navajo Plaid. It's a gift for Eloise, and you can find these at Wool Pierogi Shop. And this one was a merino, silk, camel, bamboo, and mixed domestic wool blend. And it's 4 ounces. So there were like 16 or 17 little roll eggs in there. She calls them Rolka Polkas, which is the
So
cutest name
is
ever.
that the second half or the first half?
No, this is the whole thing. This is four
Oh, you
ounces.
got 4 ounces on a Saxony bottom?
I'm amazing.
Wow.
I don't know how either because I was talking to my mom for an hour today about how I was gonna mess up my new wheel and how she hates squirrels because they're eating all her things and digging up her whatever, and they keep running into the pond. Like
Does that
she's
bother
very
her
anti.
that are
There's
squirrels
like
not allowed in the pond if you give a squirrel a pond?
it's done. Well, the frog, they had a pet frog in the pond, and the frog's dead, and she's like, it's all the squirrels.
Okay.
I don't know, but it's hysterically funny because she gets herself worked up about it. And they steal all her birdseed,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
though they have like a special squirrel feeder.
They're
They're like,
notorious for that.
and she got like squirrel proof feeders, and
Mm-hmm.
they're like, squirrel
Oh.
proof.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is all 4 ounces. It was spun long draw, but very, very fine. So this will be three plied, and to keep the color integrity intact.
So,
Um,
have you ever chain plied something that you've long drawn when you
I have
spun it?
not, and you're not supposed to, so
Oh,
it's
okay. I didn't
interesting.
know you weren't supposed to, but thinking about it, like you're putting tension
Well,
on it as you ply if you're going to chain ply
hmm
it, and a long draw is not going to have quite the strength that a worsted would. So I just wonder how that's going to work. Is all.
yeah. So this is, I think it'll be fine because I add too much twist to my singles. So I think the twist will be there and it'll be okay. If not, it'll break a bazillion times and I'll start cursing everyone. But I'm gonna wait until I get a new Lazy Kate to do it so I can play with that Lazy Kate. I'm gonna be a tester for the Works Lazy Kate.
Oh, cool.
So I'm excited. It looks really cool. But that'll show up like the first week in May. So there's not really a rush on this, obviously,
Yeah.
because Eloise bought them and then gave them to me to spin. We have a deal, and this is the only time she's taken advantage of it, but she bought them at SSK. So I
Yeah.
kind of feel guilty. Like I need to get it done. But I'm going to wait for the Lazy Kate. All right, last thing. Is this
Gosh, you
crazy?
have more spinning.
I do. I've been spinning an hour a night. And these are kind of bulky. So these are Bond singles. Bond is a type of wool. It's similar to Cordale, but it's primarily found in Australia, and it's floofier, although there are some flocks of Bond in the Colorado area, I believe. Because we looked at Bond fleeces at Estes.
Yes, we did.
And so it's kind of a poofier Cordale. It's similar in composition to Cordale. So this is the first half.
I like the colors.
Yeah, it's Southern Cross Fiber. You can't go wrong. And then this is it in the braid. Hey, his other, so this was back when I was getting two. This is March, and the other colorway for the prompt, he did a picture prompt, and it was Frontiers. So this is Elk Lake, and then the other one is Star Trek themed.
Oh.
It's the final frontier,
Oh, nice.
and it's purples. So I might spin that one for you,
I'm all
since
about
I don't care about Star Trek at all. Anyway, so that is, and that's gonna end up more like a worsted DK.
And you consider that bulky.
For me, it is.
Let me show you some bulky.
Can you? Leslie and I have very different spinning styles if
We
you're
do.
new to the show, so it's very funny to me.
And I don't spin nearly as often as Laura. Like, it is a very unusual week if Laura doesn't spin. And for me, it's more like I spin when I remember that I'm supposed to. Like, so my idea of bulky is this. So this
Ooh,
is
pretty.
Into the World Radioactive, which I think I got at Maryland last year. I either got it at Maryland or Rhinebeck. I can't remember which one.
Maryland.
Okay. Um, so I spun this yesterday and I plied it this morning. No, I spun it Friday, plied it Saturday, and then had it out. Washed it this morning and put it out on the deck to dry. So it's Into the World. It's Targi. The colorway is called Radioactive. I spun it on the Hansen and I got 220 whole yards out of 4 ounces.
That's awesome.
But I got it because this is my happy spinning. Like,
Yeah.
big, bulky, airy, lofty.
So the cool thing about spinning bulky is that, like, on mine, you can see that the colors kind of blend more.
Mm-hmm.
But on bulky, they, like, really stand out.
Yeah,
So
they
it's really
barber
fun when
pull
you've
and-
got cool barber pulling that's more
Yeah.
prevalent.
This is just sort of my happy place spinning.
I have an introverted skein and you have an extroverted skein.
Um, I can spin a 4-ounce braid like this in a few hours. It doesn't take very long to make that happen for me. Once I figured out how to do the bulky yarn, JC Boggs is a genius at teaching that kind of thing, by the way.
So does Maggie Casey's got a great video on interweave.
Once I figured out how to do it, it makes me so much happier than spinning a really skinny yarn. Maybe because I'm just not a skinny girl. I don't know. But it just makes me happy. It's so bulky and colorful, and I like it. It makes me happy. So I spun and plied that this week. This weekend. Kobe and I have been watching a lot of MasterChef Junior and Kids Baking.
I started watching the kids baking with Duff, and like the kids started irritating me, so I had to turn it off. Like, but it was so funny that they were so excited over $10,000.
Yeah,
like,
I know. I'm really enjoying MasterChef Junior because you only ever see Gordon Ramsay in MasterChef like yelling at people and
yeah,
you know, insulting them and all this. And like as an example, in the last MasterChef Junior, one of the challenges was the kids had to hand whip heavy cream into like a stiff peaks for whipped cream.
Yeah.
And the way that they tested it was by pouring it over Gordon's head to see if it would like.
See, that's cool.
That's awesome for Gordon Ramsay. I love seeing that. And I know he's got kids of his own, so it's not like it's new to him, but it's just nice to see a different part of his personality.
Yeah, is that on Netflix?
I don't know, but it's on Plex.
Okay.
So you can watch it there. So this is the Enchanted Knoll, which I've been spinning off and on since February. This is a merino tencel silk blend. It's called Dune, and I got 356 yards of a 2-ply, and this has got a lot of subtle,
nice, shiny.
Yeah, a lot of subtle undertones. It's not super even, and part of that's because I've sort of spun it in halts and stops since February, and I didn't like sit down and work on it for a long time.
I feel like bats are harder to get even anyways.
Yeah, that's true. Although this one was really well
Did
carded.
you long draw it, or did you...
No, I did a short forward draw on this, and it's nice and shiny and pretty, and because it's got so many colors in it, it'll pair well with another solid for like a 2-color shawl, which I think is what I'll probably end up doing with it at some point. It's nice and shiny, but it's not my happy place spinning. But I do like all of the sort of undertone colors.
How many yards did you get?
I got 356 yards. So
that'll be good to stripe with something else, too.
It'll pair well. And if Amber O'Brien doesn't stop coming out with freaking patterns that I want to make.
Oh my goodness, the new one's gorgeous, too.
She just keeps coming out with stuff that I'm like...
Between her and Berg... Like,
yes, Melanie Berg, yeah, and Hoey's lately has been putting out some great accessories.
Too. Like, they are the queens of multicolored shawls right now.
So that's it for me for spinning. I might do another. I might do some of my what's the fiber club I was in for a little bit? Moon something. Oh gosh, now my brain doesn't want to work. Anyway, I might do another skein this week of.
Not Blue Moon.
No, it was that
Cloud Lover.
she had study time. I'm staring at him right now, but I can't remember what it's called because I can't read the tag. Anyway, I my little self-induced fiber club for this year.
Oh yeah.
I
You had a bin, and you were gonna
right.
spin from the bin every month.
I've
Like
gotten 3
That's not bad.
done, so I need to do one for April.
April, and then one for May.
Yes, and then I won't feel so bad if I buy anything at
Maryland.
yeah.
Meh.
We'll see.
You told me
Moon
not
Rover.
to be a Moon Rover?
Yes.
Oh yeah. I forgot you did her club.
Yeah, only for one like 3-month stint.
For a month.
I
Yeah.
loved it. I just didn't keep up with it, so I didn't feel like I should keep going with it.
Yeah. She's got
Um,
pretty stuff.
but yes, I did tell you not to worry about it because you spend a crap ton, and I do not.
I was telling Leslie, so I failed March in spinning down my pound. That was my goal, so I quit 2 fiber clubs. Well, I reduced one and quit another one. And so I was like, oh man, well, I'm gonna spend my pound this month, and then anything I get over that, I can buy
At Maryland.
at Maryland. And she was like, I don't know why you're so worried. Maryland comes around once a year.
Yeah.
Get what you want. But I've spun this month 8 ounces so far because I had that 2 ounce, a little over 8 ounces, actually more like 9. I had a 2 ounce bat, then the 4 ounce Hello Yarn, and then the around 4 ounces of the little bits and bobs.
Yeah.
But I have more to spin. Well, and then the Rolex will be done.
I don't know. I
Maybe
just think
maybe
you're a
apply.
different kind of crafter than me. Like when you set goals for yourself, it sort of calms you in a way. It
It
centers you and
does.
gives you direction. Whereas for me, that just becomes an obligation and it makes me not want to do it.
Well, it does, like long term, it totally does. That's why it's good for House Cup that they have a break every 3 months. There's a break month too,
Mm-hmm.
and that's good for me. Like this month was a break month, so I could cast on 3 pairs of socks, and it didn't matter what color they were or what pattern. I could do
Yeah.
what I want, and if I don't finish them, oh well. Like, well, for this, I want to finish,
Yeah.
but if I don't finish other ones besides the chestnut, oh well, it's not a big deal. Um, but I don't mind obligations, but sometimes obligations can also become overwhelming.
Yeah.
So hopefully not on this. Um, not on this. I love her yarn. I just, after 3 months of knitting it and try, like, I'm not the type of person who typically gets a pair of socks done a month. Like, my socks sit, and when they get done, they get done. Um,
Well, at least
they're
For May,
personal.
you'll be able to cast some on and take them with you for traveling for Maryland.
Dude, I'm casting on this stuff because it is amazing and it's
Oh,
coming with
okay.
me.
Well,
The
whatever
very
makes you
colorful
happy.
yarnings.
Yes.
So pretty. But then I'm gonna run into the same problem. But there's a like March once Dash Dash starts, I'm out of school. I haven't fixed this Dash Dash dates. I will probably this week. I
We're
just
still a month out, so
yeah, we still have a little bit, and it doesn't end until August, so it'll be fine. It's the end date that's getting fixed. Um,
okay. So we have a question. This is from
we
Linda Hart. It
do.
says,
Linda Hart, who wrote that amazing book,
"Oh
the one
yeah,
from the library,
with all the about the knitting group. Now I can't remember what
yeah,
it's called, but
closely knit.
closely knit. There you go.
Yeah.
So it says, Lala, you said that you're making socks with all different heels. What a cool idea. I'd love to hear more about how you find those sock patterns, what they are, what you think are some of the most interesting ones. It would make a great newsletter topic for Closely Knit. And so you got a bunch of stuff listed if you want to talk about it.
Yes. Well, I was going to allow you to talk about it, but one thing that I'm just going to briefly say is we have a book that we're reviewing next week
Mm-hmm.
that has, and I'm going to talk mainly about books, that has a ton of different innovative designs, and that's sock knitting,
Yeah, new
um,
directions in sock knitting.
new directions in sock knitting. So we're going to review that next week. So we'll be touching upon this next week. But really, the way that I find a lot of these patterns is I use the Ravel research feature. So what I do is I go in and I click on knitting. That's my very first attribute that I click on. So you can search patterns and choose attributes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I choose fingering weight because that's everything that I'm knitting is fingering weight. And then under the actual tab attributes, there's a sock techniques tab.
Mm-hmm.
And in that tab, there is a little folder that says heel. And you can pick either a Dutch heel, which is pretty common, an afterthought heel, a heel flap, an other heel, or a short row heel. Now, within the heel flap, other heel, and short row heel, I'm sure afterthought heel too, there's a lot of variation
Like
of different
sub,
kinds of
yeah.
heels. Yeah. I mean, you can't pick that, but you can pick one of them and then kind of scroll through. And sometimes, if I'm not wanting to pay for a pattern, I also will click on free
Mm-hmm.
or in my library. You can also do age or gender, if that's something that you're thinking about. But usually, if you pick sock heel, all you're going to get is socks.
Yeah, and
Most
for the
part.
most part, those aren't gender specific. So
So I've just been when I'm bored, or I'm waiting in line at Starbucks, and it's enough time to get out my knitting. I'll flip on that. I have it saved on my phone, and I'll flip through and look, actually physically look at the different socks. A lot of them have pictures of the heels, and be like, oh, I haven't done that one yet. Let me try that. Some books that are really, really helpful, and I've listed them in the show notes, so don't feel like y'all have to write these down really fastly. And I think we've reviewed most of these, and these are not by far all the different books that I have in my book collection for socks. There's a ton more that are also excellent, but these have a lot of toe-up sock patterns specifically. And then one's just amazing, and I love her, and I feel like she's underappreciated, so we'll talk about that. So Sock Architecture has both top-down and toe-up socks. This is a book that we reviewed on the podcast before. It's got 68 top-down heels and 26 toe-up heels.
yeah,
So lots and lots of variety there. There's some great ones in there. And just
she really
pages
breaks
and
down the
pages.
whole architecture of a sock and tells
Yeah.
you why a gusset is important and
And she
why
does it
a
in
rounded
different
toe might be
colors too.
better for than a square toe or
Yeah.
vice versa. So she
It's a
really,
fabulous book.
yeah, she gets
And
into
she
the
does
nitty gritty.
all angles of the socks so you can really see
Mm-hmm.
what you're getting. So this is a definite must. If you don't purchase books, definitely see if your library can purchase it because it is amazing. My favorite toe-up author is Wendy Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
and this is one of my favorite all-time books. This is Socks from the Toe Up. It is getting a little bit worn. I actually have like pieces of, paper in
Detritus.
here. Yeah, just random bookmarks. And I just love this book. It's got tons of different patterns, and it uses primarily a gusset heel. So really, really great book. And the intro, this beginning also shows you how different toes work. It's all illustrated, different heels that you can see. So Wendy does a great job. And this is one of three sock books. Well, two sock books and then one lace book that she did that also had socks in it.
Yep.
So amazing. I don't think you can go wrong with Kat Bordy. She's got tons of different heels. She thinks in a way that I wish that I thought,
Yes,
but
and not only are her heels innovative, like you can't assume anything with the cat boarding
yeah,
pattern. You have to really read through every bit of it. You can't start on the cuff and think, "Oh, I'll just go until I get to, where I want to start the heel." Her patterns are like an adventure, every one of them.
yeah, and they're really
So,
interesting. So she's got this book. She's got tons of different books,
mhm.
including the Sweet Tomato Short Row Heel, which is one that I'm going to do later this year for sure. And then last but not least, this is my underappreciated person. I love Nancy Bush. Nancy Bush has tons of really great books, including Knitting on the Road, Folk Socks.
Yeah.
This one is Knitting Vintage Socks, and she has gone and done all the research and gone into like Weldon's Practical Needleworks. And so this really goes into the history of sock heels a lot. And it's got gorgeous patterns in it.
Yeah.
Like, these were some of the first sock books that I ever bought. And while they have more illustrations than finished, well, they have finished pictures too, but they have a lot of illustrations. I just love them. They're knit all from the top down, I believe. Yeah, I think they're all top down. But her three books are amazing, and if you don't have them in your library, you should get them because they're very cool. So those are some of my favorites. Also, Lucy Neatbee's Cool Socks Warm Feet.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great one. I used the garter stitch heel from that. The Fish Lips Kiss heel is a great short row heel if you've not tried that one before.
Right, and
There's
that's like
lots
a
of
dollar purchase
heels.
on
Yeah,
Ravelry.
there's lots of heels on Ravelry. And sometimes people just put heel patterns on Ravelry,
Yep.
which is really interesting too. And you did the gusset, the bottom gusset socks. Which
Bootstrap.
there's a no, the bootstraps Laura Neal, those are cool. But you did them
Oh,
where
the double.
the double
Yes,
gusset on the
double
bottom.
gusset.
And
Those
there's a
socks are in the
toe-up
dryer
version
right
of
now.
that too. So that might be my next one.
I really like the way those wear, actually. They're very snug fitting.
Mhm.
I think it's a combination of the yarn was a very plump fingering, and the way that the gusset brings the fabric in more than just one place, like
Yeah.
over the two gussets. I really like it. I'm definitely going to knit that pattern again.
And there is a toe-up version of that too, that I found. But I get to the point I've meant to knit it twice now. The last two socks that I've done, and I you have to do it like 3.5 inches out from where you need the heel to be, and I keep forgetting. I
Yeah.
get to like 2 inches out, which is like my default, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
crud. So I'm gonna do that in the future as well. But Rav searches are definitely your friend, and there's lots.
I mean, if there was one thing I could give Casey a big giant wet kiss for, it would be the advanced pattern search in Ravelry,
Mhm.
because it, for me, when I use this, we're going off a little bit from the question, but when I'm looking for a new project to cast on, I sort of agonize over it more than is really necessary. But I'll go through and I'll click and unclick on different prompts. But one of the things that I depend on the most is like whether it's in my library or in my queue, because I try to knit those things first. So if
See,
I've got,
Leslie's so good. I'm like, ooh, shiny. I will buy that pattern.
well, it's like I
I
had
did that
this yarn
yesterday.
and I wanted to knit something out of it, and so I go into Ravelry and I put 0 to 150 yards of a bulky, preferably something that's already in my library. But if it's not in my library, something that's in my queue, something for me. I always do adult size because
Yeah.
whatever. If you want to knit for babies, that's awesome for you. But
That kind of leads
I'm
into
knitting
our
for
book
me.
review. Yeah.
But yeah, I really really love that feature. It's great. I would pay a subscription fee to
I
Ravelry
pay
for
the
that
five
feature.
dollars now to upload pictures
Yeah,
because I
I do
figure
that.
it's helping Ravelry
Hmm.
and it's so much easier than me having to take a picture and
Especially
put it
for
on
your Harry
Flickr.
Potter thing, yeah.
Oh yes.
House
Oh
Cup or whatever
yes.
it's called.
Yes, it's the house cup.
So hopefully we answered your question, Linda. It's
I'll have to tell you at the end of the year what's the most unique one. So far, it's been that garter stitch short row for me was really interesting, and that was from the Lucy Neatbee Cool Socks Warm Feet. She's got the Craftsy class too that uses three different heels, and that's a freebie. So something to look at as well.
so we do have a book to review.
We do. It's my favorite book.
So this is
Totally
Modern Baby
biased.
Knits, Three Skeins or Less by Tanis Gray.
Yes. So it is edited by Tanis Gray. It's
Hmm.
got 23 designs that are newborn up to whatever you can get out of 3 month size. So some of them go up to like
Three
24
skein
months.
size.
Three
Yeah.
skeins. There we go. Three skein size. It's nice modern stuff, and I have a total bias because some of my favorite designers are in
Yeah,
here.
she's got a really great lineup. She's got, of course, Tanis has some of her own patterns in here. Sudi
Hmm.
Samola's got stuff in here. Kate Oates,
Lisa Chemery, who's one of my favorite baby designers, is in here.
Rebecca
Rebecca
Danger,
Danger is in here. Like
Melissa
she's
Shashwari. She did
Melissa Labar.
the Lighthouse Keepers wife,
Hmm.
yeah. So there's lots. I mean, it's a really great roundup of designers in here, and aside from a few items that are very clearly geared towards girls,
There's a good variety though.
there's a lot
Lot
of
of
these
gender
items
neutral.
are really gender neutral. Yeah. Um,
So my favorite first I'm just gonna skip through because that's how I roll with baby knits. I love the Rainbow Bonnet and Mitten Set by Lisa. How cute is that? Great for using up scraps of
Mm-hmm.
like a rainbow. It's Blue Moon Fiber Arts heavyweight, so it's more of a worsted weight, so it would knit up pretty fast, and it would make a great baby shower gift that wouldn't take too long. But the detail on it, those little mittens,
Yeah.
the thumbs being rainbow, and the cord being rainbow.
Yes.
And I am a sucker for a bonnet.
A public safety announcement, of course, if you have children, anything with a string can get wrapped around their neck. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
Make sure that you take care of it. That is sized from newborn up to 24 months. So super, super cute. Lots of detail shots too.
Mm-hmm. I like the polka dot
Pictures.
pullover. This one
I
could be,
do
just depending on the colors, could be boy or girl. It goes in size from
General.
3 up to 24 months, and it's out of worsted weight, so it knit up really cute. It does have 2 colors, but aside from the pocket, you're only ever knitting with one at a time. So
Yeah.
even though it looks complicated, it's really not.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
And it's a great way of using up, you bought one of this,
Mm,
like I have, it uses Sweet Georgia, and I definitely have like one skein, so all I would have to get is 2 of another.
yeah. I love this little new leaf bonnet. It is so sweet.
So cute.
It
It's out
goes
of
from
Spud and
newborn to
Chloe.
12 months. It's so
Love it.
adorable.
I almost cast that on, but I have to finish these. Like, that is my reward for finishing the socks.
It's such a beautiful contrast of the garter stitch, which is an old standby, with that beautifully detailed leaf.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And it's a great, again, like a great baby shower present, but it uses a wool cotton blend, so it's perfect for year round
mhm.
almost. And I bet you could get more than one out of
Oh,
160
yeah, I
yards
imagine.
for sure.
I like the nuage pullover. This is a Nadia Creighton Lechen.
Love that with the cloud
Yes.
embroidery.
That duplicate stitch on there.
Even without that duplicate stitch, just
Yeah.
nice and classic.
It's got that cute little 2-button detail up at the top with striped sleeves. And again, this is another one that, like, just depending on the colors, you could gear it towards the individual child really easily.
And if you want it to be a little less fiddly and go a lot faster, just do the contrast color on the sleeves with no stripes. It
Hmm.
will go so much faster. And that goes up to a 5T from a 6 months
Yeah,
out of a DK weight yarn. So really, really great,
yeah.
great pattern for
This
sure.
one
And very
goes,
well, all of these are very well styled with the exception
yeah,
of
simple. Lots of bright
Mhm.
color in the background, but the models themselves are done very simply. So the diamond pullover is from 3 months up to 4T.
I like
And
that one too.
again, it's, yeah, just depending on the colors, you could gear it boy, girl, or individual child. And even though it looks complicated, it's mosaic stitch, so you're only slipping stitches. You're only
Mhm.
working one color at a time.
And it
So,
goes up to a 4T. It's out of Cascade 220
hmm,
Superwash, so you can get a lot of bang for your buck. You're talking like $30
yeah,
for a great present, and that's like up to a 4T. So,
and it's superwash. Yay!
yay! All the yarns in here have been superwash. The Elizabeth tunic, if you're not
I
familiar
love
with
this.
Tanja Hillard, I think her name's Tanja Hillard stuff.
Yeah.
She does a lot of dresses, especially that are freaking adorable, and some of them are free
Yes.
patterns on Ravelry.
And I love this little delicate button detail in the
I
back
love the
of the yoke.
sleeves.
Yeah, they give it a little bit of a flirty, sort of princessy look. And I mean, this one's clearly geared towards the girls,
Oh
but
yeah, it's out of Dream and Color Everlasting DK, so 2 skeins of DK for an up to a 4T size, and you could probably very easily make it a little bit bigger. Nice clear schematic. I like how it's laid out. The stitch guides are in a box that's a different color, so it's really easy to see. Nice layout. Gorgeous pictures. Wally and Carter are getting knit.
this is a Rebecca Danger pattern. We are huge fans of Miss Rebecca Danger.
Did you see her new gnome pattern? She did gnome nuggets, like the bun nuggets, but they're gnomes.
I haven't seen
They
that.
just came out. She had like 4 new patterns come out.
Oh,
You
that's
can tell her
wonderful.
little boys are getting a little bit older because she's had time. And she has a new book.
I knew she had a new book coming out, but
But Wally and Carter are a pair of curious bears, perfect for a big sibling, little sibling present.
mhm.
That's what those are going to be for a friend of mine that's pregnant. So, and those are out of worsted, would knit up super fast.
Yeah.
And her patterns are very clear, and she does them so that you don't have to seam stuff on,
Yeah.
which
You
is amazing.
you knit it like
You
for the
attach it as
appendages,
knit.
yeah, you're picking up stitches on the creature and then knitting out for the
Hmm.
appendages, which is really good. I like the
I
baby
love this
tunic.
kimono. Oh,
Oh, go
okay.
ahead because the kimono is before the tunic.
Yes, love the kimono. It's the cover sweater. It just uses a little bit of worsted in a contrast color, very gender neutral, sized from 3 months up to 24 months. Great for using up like a little scrap of a great yarn that you have left over. I mean, it's literally probably 50 to 100 yards for that I-cord bind off, and that's
Yeah.
it. So nice, classic looking, would be a great present for sure.
I like the baby tunic, which is sized from 3 months to 3T, and
Mm,
while it's sort of styled more towards the young girls because it's meant to be worn as a dress, and then as they age, it shortens into a
yeah.
sweater. You could make it shorter to make it a boy's sweater because it's a very simple piece,
Yep.
and just swap out colors for something that you think your
And I
boy would
love things
like.
that have buttons like that because then you can unbutton them to get over little people's heads and then
Hmm.
button them back up or leave them unbuttoned. Really well styled. Everything in this book is really well styled. The Wee Ones Farewell hats are by Tanis Gray. I'm going to show you this picture because I think that's got better contrast to it.
Yes, I love the little loops at the top. It's
Yes,
such a
it's
darling little
super
touch.
cute. And a great way if you're just starting with color work to learn color work
Hmm.
with a fairly simple chart, especially that maroon version versus the navy version. Really, really easy.
I like the striped jersey too. It fits a little more snugly than the
Yeah,
other sweaters, but it's designed to do that. It's
out of a
modeled
fingering
after a
eight
French
yarn. Yeah.
sailor shirt, so it's newborn up to 24 months. And again, depending on color, you can gear it towards whatever child you
Yeah. I
desire.
love those envelope necklines.
Hmm.
This is knit from the bottom up, I believe.
And it's got these adorable little patch elbow
Uh-huh.
bits.
This book is all about the details. There's
Yes.
some very cute
There's
details.
some blankets in here,
There
a
are.
couple of stuffed
I love the
animals.
zigzag vest by
Yes.
Helen Rose. She's another great kids designer, Helen Rose. She's got a ton of stuff out there. Um, it reminds me kind of like when you see music and they've got the
Yes,
little
that's what I was thinking.
yes.
Yeah. Um,
So very, very cute. And I think that's all slip stitches. So very easy
right.
to execute. Again, you can use up scraps. It's worsted weight. It'd be cool to do that in like a gradient too. And you wouldn't
Yeah.
even have to really, you could just carry that yarn on the inside
I
and wouldn't
really
have to
think
really worry
this
about it.
next pattern might be the most sort of technically diverse in the way that it's designed. The Camaro pullover by Svetlana Vokova.
Uh-huh.
So you've got the solid color in the front with the solid color patch pocket.
Yep.
You've got wide stripes of both colors on the sleeves, and then when you look in the back, you've got
Striped in Tarja style.
right
Yep.
single color or like thin lines with thick. So it's a really visually interesting
Mm-hmm.
garment, and this one is sized from newborn up to 24 months in a sport weight. It looks like it's a top-down raglan style sweater.
It is.
So, you're if you've knit sweaters before, you're probably already relatively familiar with the way that it's made. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
positive. There's a couple more blankets. There's a dress with some frilly picot
I
edging.
really like the geometric baby blanket because it's hard to see in this picture, but it's got stripes and then in
Yes.
between it's got zigzags. But I almost would like it with just plain garter ridges
Yeah,
without
I
the
agree. With
zigzags.
the pops of color.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. But I
But
do like
really,
the
really pretty.
texture of the stockinette versus garter for stripe for the
Yeah.
chevron. I think that's a cool effect.
Yeah, it's really pretty and very gender neutral as well.
There are some basic information in the back as in regards to three needle bind off or how to do increases or decreases, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. I wouldn't say this is a book to get you started knitting, but I think that it's a perfectly acceptable book for a beginner knitter so long as you have a basic understanding of the concepts.
Mm-hmm.
So again, this was sent to us for review by F&W
Yeah,
Media Interweave, and I think it's great. I think it's fantastic.
love it.
Very,
Joanna Springs, Joanna Licious, who's knitting a ton of baby stuff right now. You need to go buy this book.
um, I think the designs are very contemporary.
Yes,
They're
but
not.
still classic in a lot of ways
Yes,
too.
I think that it was a well cultivated book. A
Tanis
lot of really
always does a
great
great job.
designs.
So that is Three Skeins or Less Modern Baby Knits by Tanis Gray. It retails for $22.99. Of course, if you buy it through someone who discounts their books, you can get it a little bit cheaper. And Interweave, a lot of times, F&W Media does put stuff as Kindle versions as well.
Hmm.
So that might be
And if you haven't
an
already
option.
signed up for their newsletter, they put stuff on sale all the time.
Yes, they do. You've been reading. I have not because life's been busy with crafting. So what have you been reading, my friend?
Um, I've mostly been reading one of my favorite male authors put out a new book. Santino Hassel is the author, and he's got a new book out in one of his series. So I'm rereading the first two. I finished the first one and started the second one this morning, and then the third one is the new one. So I'll
What
probably
genre is it? Like sci-fi or
no, it's contemporary male romance,
okay.
based in like Manhattan, and the main characters are teachers. So I hear a lot about you read a lot about Common Core versus how they do it in their like private
That's
school,
funny.
and it's interesting. But I like the way the guy writes. So that's pretty much it. I've been listening to. Well, I downloaded the new. Oh my God, what is his name?
Brandon Sanderson.
Yes.
Mm.
How do you know that? Calamity is the new book.
Yes, I just bought Calamity because my eighth grade library helper this year, instead of wanting, usually I knit them stuffies
Yeah, like
or give
Bone
them gift
Nuggets or something.
cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year they told I have two of them, and they told me they both wanted books, and they told me what books, and his was Calamity, so it just came the other day, and he already snatched it.
Oh.
He was very upset that I did not and tell them that it was for him to keep, but he was upset that my library is now closed for the year basically because I have testing for the next three
Oh
weeks, and
yeah.
I had ordered that book, but it hasn't. Ordering books for libraries, it takes like a month to
Yeah.
get them in. So it was taking a little bit longer, and he's like, "You're not gonna be here, and I'll never get to read it because they don't have a library at the high school." Um, so I got it for him.
But they won't have a cool librarian at the high
Well,
school.
that's
So.
true. They do have a very cool librarian, and she's a knitter. I don't know if she watches the show or not. It's Becky Hopkins. I don't know if you know Becky or
Mm-mm.
not. Yeah. But anywho, we have of course Dash Dash coming up,
Yes.
and we'll get more into that when it's the end of
Like
May.
yeah, mid-May, end of May.
Mid-May, and we'll start really gearing up for that. If you are a crafter and would like to donate prizes to either Stash Dash or the retreat that we do, SSK, as a door prize,
Yep.
just contact me and I will give you the information. We've already had several people do that, so I'm very
Sweet.
excited. Also, if you go to the Stash Dash planning thread, there's at least one person, Merchantile, I'm not going to remember her
Mercantile 519 or something.
something like that. Hold on, I will find it. She posted, yeah, 519. She posted, she does pattern writing as well, and she posted a coupon code for her pattern
Oh,
shop.
cool.
It's Nicole Doulard, Droulard actually, Drouillard. I'm just gonna link the post.
I just
How about I do
remember
that?
the avatar in Mercantile 519. I don't know who she is. I know the
You
little
remember that one?
picture. Yeah. Um, but that's
Yeah.
cool.
So I'm going to go ahead. I've actually favorited that post. Huh. All right. Because I sometimes remember to do things. So I'm gonna go ahead and link that in the episode thread, which is super fun.
We also
Uh,
still have links up for if you want to join the Spin Along Knit Along that we're going to do over
yes.
the summer with Ross Farm and Wandering Wool.
Wandering Wool.
The links for the pre-orders are up on they'll be in the show notes again this week, and I'll put them in the first post of this week's episode thread as well. So if you want to pre-order, I'm not certain how long they stay up. I think that they'll stay up until the end of or the middle of May. I'll go take a look and update you in a second. What else
Okay.
do we have? Maryland Sheep and
We
Wool?
will be at Maryland Sheep and Wool. There is a podcaster meetup. It is in a different location this year. So I will link that, probably as soon as we get done recording so that you
Where is
have.
it?
It is inside an air-conditioned barn.
Ooh, yes.
I think it's inside the 4-H building. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up and then I'll tell you. So it is in a different location. They did post about it in the Maryland Sheep and Wool group on Ravelry, but it's been knocked down past like where you typically would see stuff. Like you have to click on the more profile.
Oh, okay.
And it is, I've been reading way too much on this group. Let's see.
Through Friday, May 6th. That's when the pre-orders end. So I'm going to put that in the show
Okay.
notes.
All right, so we are on the master schedule from 1 until 2 p.m. on Saturday in the 4-H hall. I'm just going to go ahead. Oop. What are you doing, silly computer?
What time did you say? When is it?
1 to 2 p.m.
Okay.
And then there'll be a group following us who's doing a Blueface Luster fiber demo at 2. So stick around for that.
Cool.
All right, so I've linked that beside, just not linked, but told you that's from 1 to 2 p.m. on Saturday in the 4-H hall. I think the 4-H hall is typically where they serve food.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was too. It was the food hall, but
I think they do other things there as well.
when you go into Maryland, when you go into the event, you'll get you can get a little
a map, and they have
Yes.
maps on their website as well. So they've been working really hard and doing some really cool technology along with on their website that kind of really links and shows you where everything is, and you can actually search the vendors, I think, now by like what they sell,
Oh.
which is super cool. I'm gonna go ahead and link the website too while I'm linking stuff. You were gonna go back and say something. I can't remember what
No,
now.
I was just going to say that the pre-orders for the Knit Along Spin Along fiber will go until May the 6th. I swear to God, I've got a herd of horses upstairs. I don't know what's going on.
Or a teenage boy, whichever. We also will be at TNNA this year, which is in
Yes.
DC.
It's June
we're
11th and 12th or something to that.
I'm gonna fly into Philly, and then Leslie and I are gonna drive down on Friday and maybe go to Fiberspace.
Maybe. That's so cute.
And go to Fiberspace.
We need to go to Clover Hill too while you're down there.
Ooh, yeah. And we'll go to Clover Hill. And we're never gonna get to TNNA.
No.
And then Saturday we'll be wandering around TNNA.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna be at TNNA, please stop us and say hi.
Yes.
It's a trade show, so I know not a ton of people are able to go.
Yeah, it's
usually.
not like a Maryland Sheep and Wool.
It's not
where you
open
can go
to
and
the
buy
public.
stuff, really. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
But I'll try to post on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm like Lala Knits there. It's linked to my Ravelry profile. We'll do like a road trip picture. Maybe closer to that time, I can give you kind of an estimate of when we'll be at Clover Hill or Fiberspace. And then that's like Friday. And then Saturday we'll be at TNNA. And then Sunday, maybe. There weren't any classes that we were well, there was one class we were interested in, but it's at like 7 o'clock in the
Yeah, it
morning.
begins at 7:45, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. And it wasn't like an, oh my God, I need this class. It was just
Yeah.
like maybe.
It sounded interesting.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any, it's a lot more of business side of
Right.
shop running, which maybe someday we'll be interested in, but not right now. We have a Highland Knits giveaway.
Yes, for the book that we reviewed last week.
We have 2 copies, so we're going to pull 2 numbers
Yes.
for this lovely book.
And if you will give me the numbers, I will pull up my random number generator.
Well, hold on. I went to the Maryland Sheep and Wool website. Let me get back to Knit Girls.
Random.org.
2 through 120.
All right. So we'll do 2.
Jess, so your thread was, I would love to know what other people do to cheer themselves up. And you just posted immediately after, take selfies with pandas.
I did see that. All right. So we're going to pick a number between 2 and 120. We'll do this twice. So the first number is 89. That should be on the 4th page.
Sorry, Merchantile 5189 put, I make my cat do ridiculous things by tempting her with catnip and put a picture. What was the number? I got distracted.
89.
Oh, Siri totally thought I was talking to her.
Does she have like a 45-minute audio file? Because I've done that
Yeah.
before.
Like, sorry, Merchantile 5189. Lay out cat's ears ridiculous. I don't know.
Okay.
What number was it? I'm
89.
so easily distracted. Oh, I only go up to 75 there. 89 is, oh, it's a cat or a dog in crazy costume. It's a blonde 20 fan, and she says, I go on for a walk in the sunshine with my fur baby Leo. She is the best at cheering me up when I am sad, and she's got her dog in a hat. A handspun
Sweet.
hat, it looks like. So that's one, and blonde 20 fan,
So blonde 20 fan, contact Laura.
who is Jessie, contact me. I feel like she's won before. She's in Twin Lake, Michigan. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just
I
making
can't
stuff.
keep track of that. All right, so it's still on 89, so I'm going to push it
Okay.
again to pick our next winner. And it's number 20, which should be on our first page. Doom, doom, doom,
All right. It
Where's Jess's
is R.
R.
And-
Nirad.
Murad, who said, and this is only her third post ever.
Aw.
That's so awesome. Play a Knit Girls podcast and spin, spin, spin. That's Rose from Bellingham, Washington. That's awesome.
Awesome,
So
Rose.
sweet.
So private message me, you don't call me Les, on Ravelry. And give me your address, and I'll get this, well, I'll get my husband to send this in the mail to you. So.
I love the people who cheer themselves up with food because I'm totally that person. There is Ben and Jerry's that was purchased this week.
Yes. I love Ben and Jerry's, but a few years ago, my friend Megan got me hooked on a flavor called Scotchy Scotch.
Yes, and you can't
You
make
can't
it.
get, it was one of the limited edition ones. You can't get
Yeah.
it anymore. It was butterscotch flavored. It was really good.
I'm not a butterscotch person.
Oh, it was so good. Anyway, we do have a
Cross
couple.
Farms has a picture of lambs and says she snuggles lambs.
That would make me feel better on pretty much for
Aw.
any reason whatsoever.
That's super cute.
We do have a couple of SSK related items. We'll be pulling people from the wait list this week. I was hoping to get it done last
Yes.
week. It just didn't happen, but we have several spots for day pass and on site that we'll be pulling for. We also have a thread for you guys to help us decide how to pick a scholarship winner. And Laura got class polls up, right?
Yeah, and so hopefully next weekend I will have class options after we pull for people. You can sign up for classes because we like to have all our spots filled before we start doing classes. It'll be up for until probably, well, it'll be up for forever, but round about May 14th is when I'll start assigning people classes, and we'll send out an email to the
Yeah.
people who don't necessarily watch the podcast, for sure. So anyway, that's it.
Yeah, I think that's all I've got too. The rest of my night should be exciting with laundry and maybe cutting a quilt. With me, I have to measure 4 times and then cut. Otherwise, bad things happen. So anyway,
That'll be good.
hope you guys have a lovely week, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.